roll call. That'll give everybody a chance to.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, indeed. There you go.
Well, I already changed it, so I don't know what it is.
Okay, good evening. It is Tuesday, April 21st, 2026, 6:31, and at this time, I will call our city council meeting to order. We will start with Pledge of Allegiance, and invocation will be given immediately following by First Ward Council Member Arlene Robinson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm sorry. Please, reverence in the way you choose to worship. I would like to say, Heavenly Father, we thank you for another opportunity, another day to be here in your presence. We ask for you to put your hands on the business of the city of Jackson and guide us in the way that we should go to make things better for our residents of this great city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Madam Clerk, if you'll proceed with roll call, please.
Mayor Mahoney,
Present.
Councilmember Robinson,
Present.
Vice Mayor Dancy,
Eastside.
Councilmember Gunn,
Present.
Councilmember Wood,
Here.
Councilmember Hunt,
Present.
Councilmember Forgrave.
Here.
Looks like we are all present and accounted for. Next, I'll be looking for a motion and support for the adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Madam Clerk, if you would proceed with the roll call vote for the adoption of the agenda.
Councilmember Robinson,
Present. What am I doing?
adoption of the agenda.
Adoption of the agenda. So moved.
Vice Mayor Dancy,
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn,
Yes.
Councilmember Wood,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Forgrave,
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
I'm thinking about it. No, yes, I'm sorry. Just had to mix it up real quick, Madam Clerk, I'm sorry. Okay, agenda is adopted, and that brings us down to presentations and proclamations. Today we have two. Item A, I'm just gonna start by reading this proclamation. I won't read through the entire thing, but I'll read a couple of the points on here. And this is a proclamation honoring Arbor Day in the city of Jackson. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established the first Arbor Day, which was celebrated with the planting of more than 1 million trees, a tradition now observed throughout the nation and world. Whereas trees play an essential role in reducing stormwater runoff, improving water and air quality, moderating temperatures, lowering energy costs, and providing habitat for wildlife, while also offering beauty and spiritual renewal to residents and visitors alike. Whereas the City of Jackson, in consultation with the Environmental Commission, has recently conducted a tree canopy survey and established a tree plan to guide future planting and stewardship efforts towards supporting ecological diversity, increasing the tree health, and attaining Tree City USA status. Excuse me. Whereas the City of Jackson encourages residents, schools, organizations, and businesses to participate in tree planting activities, educational programs, park cleanups, and other community events that celebrate and nurture our shared natural environment. Echoing the DNR's invitation for communities to host Arbor Day celebrations across Michigan. Now, therefore, I, Daniel J. Mahoney, Mayor of the City of Jackson, do hereby proclaim the City of Jackson's commitment to celebrating and honoring Arbor Day on Friday, April 24th, 2026, and urge all residents to join us in celebrating Arbor Day and to support efforts to plant, protect, and care for trees, both for the benefit of today's community and for generations to come.
I'm not able to get in right now.
I don't know if we have anybody here to accept this. Make sure we get that to someone. Okay. That brings us to item B. I'm going to read parts of the Workers' Memorial Day Proclamation. Proclamation recognizing April 28, 2026 as Workers' Memorial Day in the city of Jackson. Whereas Workers' Memorial Day is observed each year on April 28 to honor workers who have been killed, injured, disabled, or made ill on the job. Whereas the city of Jackson recognizes the dignity of work and the essential contributions of workers across our community, including those in manufacturing, construction, public safety, public works, healthcare, education, transportation, retail, services, industries, and the public sector. Whereas according to the state of Michigan's 2026 Workers' Memorial Day Proclamation, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates 5,070 fatal work injuries nationwide in 2024, including 152 workplace fatalities in Michigan. Whereas it is fitting that the city pause to remember those whose lives were lost or forever changed because of workplace incidents and occupational illnesses, to recommit ourselves to protecting the health, safety, and well-being of all workers. Now, therefore, I, Daniel J. Mahoney, Mayor of the City of Jackson, Michigan, do hereby proclaim April 28, 2026 as Workers' Memorial Day in the City of Jackson and encourage residents, employers, labor organizations, and community partners to join in remembering those we have lost and renewing our commitment to safer workplaces for all. That one has a special place for me because I every day work to help men and women find careers in skilled trades. So when I see the orange barrels, when I see job sites, when I see the high-vis vests, shirts, hats, all of those things, I think at every single point, at any time, one of those individuals could be one of my students out there. So again, as we enter into the heavy season of construction and detours and road work from here across the whole state of Michigan, just keep in mind that those men and women who are out there repairing our infrastructure, at the end of the day, they want to go home to their families. So no matter how urgent it is for you to get from one place to another, just drive carefully through those areas. That concludes our presentations and proclamations, brings us down to item 6, public hearing. And we have a presentation and public hearing for East Side Commerce Corridor. East Side?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Good evening, City Council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for having me here for this tonight. I'm here to talk about our East Side Commerce Corridor project. As many of you might be aware, we have about a $4 million grant to do some major construction along this corridor. And it's a federal grant, and a condition of that grant is that we hold a public hearing, so that way the public has an opportunity to give you guys input regarding this project. So that's what we're here to do tonight. I'm going to give a short overview of the project, and then we'll do the public hearing, and then that will help us progress this closer to fruition. So the East Side Commerce Corridor, for those of you who don't know, it's Washington, Elm, and Page, a combination of streets. There's a map here that shows you, and basically it connects downtown with Page Ave, which takes you out to the highway. It's a regional asset. That's why it qualified for the grant that we got. It moves a lot of cars, It connects the highway to our industrial area, and it also connects the highway to our downtown commerce area. So hence the name, and hence the reason why this qualified for this federal grant. There's a map there. I think we all know where East Washington is. It's kind of got a funny jog because it does have to go from one side of the railroad to the other. But I'm going to flip the next slide and talk to you about what we're going to do on each different portion of the project. There's really, I guess, an overview of what the conditions of the roads are now. Page Avenue, it was reconstructed in 1995. It's actually in pretty good shape. It moves a lot of traffic. Almost 11,000 vehicles a day are riding on Page Avenue. As you can see, it brings people into downtown. It also takes people over to East Michigan. We move down. We have that little jog in the road for Elm. That was milled and repaved in 2003, and it is in bad shape, poor shape, as is East Washington. East Washington was reconstructed in 1996, only a year after Page Avenue, but we know it's in a lot worse shape. It doesn't move nearly as much traffic as Page Avenue, but we kind of suspect that's because it's in such bad shape. I think people that should be using East Washington to come into downtown are probably using East Michigan just to avoid that debacle. So what are we talking about doing for construction? Well, Page Avenue, like I said, it's in decent shape, but it's time to keep it in decent shape. So we're just going to mill and resurface that road. It's that simple. Not a whole lot going on. We will have to upgrade the sidewalk ramps to meet ADA requirements, but we're going to mill and repave it. Washington is really where the meat and potatoes of this project is. We do have to do Elm. And I'm looking at my slide now. I say I didn't even put Elm on here. The pavement is in bad shape on Elm, but we're just going to replace the pavement. We're not going to do anything more to it than that. We're not going to change curbs or anything like this. We'll build some sidewalks. We're going to repave it. The meat and potatoes of this project is on Washington. That's where we're going to be able to really replace a really bad road through an important part of town. We're going to do full depth pavement replacement, dig it all out, put down new gravel base, 3 new layers of asphalt. We're going to standardize the lanes. Probably those of us who live here and don't even think about it, it's really kind of funky. It kind of goes from 2 lanes to 3 lanes, back to 2. We're going to standardize it. It'll be 2 lanes, but they're going to be wide lanes to accommodate truck traffic. And then also on Washington, we're going to replace the water main. The water main work won't be covered by the grant, but it needs to be done, especially we're going to build a new road over it. I think the other part of this, the fourth component of it, is building a new traffic signal at the corner of Elm and Page. That's one of our last old ones. It's aged out, and we got the grant money to do it, so we're going to take advantage of that. Throughout the project, we'll be upgrading sidewalk ramps to meet ADA requirements to make them accessible. We'll be fixing sidewalks where they got trip edges and broken sections, and we're going to plant some trees. I think the other thing you're going to find through there is it's pretty barren. And again, planting some trees helped us score some more points for the grant. So it's a good thing for us, but it also helped us in terms of funding. So how are we going to pay for this road project? Like I said, we got about $4 million grant, but we do have to match that. The city has to pay 20% match of construction and pay for the engineering. So it's going to be about a $5.4 million project with $4 million of that covered by the RAISE grant. The city is going to have to pay for the other portion of it. That's going to be paid by a combination of assessments and major street funds. I don't think we need to talk about assessments now. That will be coming up later. You know, this is going to come before you like a lot of times before we actually get to construction. But we'll probably be bringing you something in August to start that process. So what have we done to date? We're in 2026. We started on this in 2024 with our original application. We got awarded in 2025. We actually had to apply twice. We got denied the first time, but they told us it was a good project. So we kept at it, kind of tightened it up a little bit, and we did get awarded. So right now, we do have an engineer putting together plans. I had a whole lot of bullet points on here, kind of engineering stuff, applied for railroad permits. We already got that stuff covered, but that's what our engineer is working on. Going forward is probably what we care about the most. In May, we're gonna bring you guys an agreement. We have to enter into a three-party agreement with the Federal Highway Administration, with MDOT and the city. In August, we're gonna start the initial steps for the assessment process, hold a hearing of necessity. In August, we're also gonna replace lead services because we wanna get them done before we build a new road over it. We're gonna have plans done in August, open bids in December, and then in January, that's when we'll be able to award a contract. And part of awarding the contract will also be confirming assessments, but we're hoping to get this going in January. January, it's realistic, might be a little optimistic. We think we can do it, but if we hit some roadblocks or speed bumps with MDOT, we got time built in there. If we don't get it done until February or March, we'll be okay. So how are we gonna build this? We're gonna have to do it over 2 seasons. We're gonna do, the first part will be milling Page and building the pavement on Elm. And then the second season, 2028, we'll actually do the big road reconstruction on East Washington. Now, why are we picking and choosing which way we do it? Well, we need to do Page in 2027, so we can use East Michigan Avenue for our detour route. In 2028, East Michigan's gonna be used by MDOT, and they're gonna wanna use Page for a route, so we're gonna kind of flip-flop our projects and coordinate them, so that's what we're looking at in terms of our tentative schedule. That's all I've got for you, just a quick overview. I'll be happy to answer any questions. If not, we'll do the public hearing and meet our requirements.
Okay, so at this time, I am looking for a motion to open a public hearing for the East Side Commerce Corridor, which
So
we
moved.
just heard the information
Support.
about. It's been moved and supported? Okay. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
I do have one quick question. So do we know yet what for that 1.2 million?
Oh, sorry, on the motion.
Oh, I'm
to
sorry.
open it, and then I'll let you stop.
Yes, please.
Okay, so, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same? Okay, public hearing is now open. Yes, ma'am.
So on the 1.2 million, the city match and the engineering cost, do we yet have a breakdown of how much of that will be major street funds versus assessments?
No, we don't, because we don't know what our major street fund is gonna be in that year.
Okay,
And then we just have to cost everything out. I
Got it.
will say, generally speaking, I don't wanna put words in their mouths, but we talk with the property owners on there.
Yep.
They've asked before how much it would take for them just to pave it, so assessments, I think, are gonna be welcome, because it won't be the full freight.
okay. I just know with the way things have been going around assessments, I'm just a little concerned that it might put a
Well,
roadblock in
I'm
this
hopeful it'll
project.
be a little bit better also, because those who may feel like or have concern about having trouble, we also have the fund that we developed as
Yep.
well. And
Yes,
so I'm hopeful that it'll go a little bit better also.
thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, just a question. So with the lead line replacement, does that start earlier?
Yes, that's gonna start earlier. That's actually gonna be done this year. The nice thing out there's only 3 or 4, so probably most people won't even notice. We'll just get them done and then it'll be taken care of.
Okay. I do want to open the floor for our public to join the conversation around this. And so I will just read the rules really quick for speaking before City Council during the public hearing portion of the meeting. Number 1, each speaker will state their name and address. Number 2, during public hearings, the city council may enact a timeline on all speakers to ensure that all present get an equal chance to speak. Council members and staff may answer questions during this time. Number 3, comments made during the public hearing shall remain relevant to the specific topic of the hearing. Number 4, each speaker should be polite and courteous to the council and members of the public in attendance. Number 5, while any speaker is free to express his or her opinion on the specific topic of the public hearing, no speaker may direct personal attacks at any member of the staff or council unrelated to the manner in which they perform their duties, use obscene language while addressing the city council, or engage in disruptive or disorderly behavior during the council meeting. Number 6, if the mayor determines that any of the items listed in number 5 occur, the mayor may declare the speaker out of order. If a speaker is declared out of order by the mayor and refuses to cease and desist from disruptive or disorderly conduct, the mayor may order that person removed from the meeting. Nicholas Thurston.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nicholas Thurston. I live at 410 Van Buren Street, Apartment B, Jackson, Michigan, Ward 5. It's good to see the approach to developing the east side, definitely focusing on physical public infrastructure like roads, waterways, sidewalks, any highway off-ramps, anything like that that needs to be repaired. Definitely should be taken care of. One thing I have a major concern with is I would hate to see the east side, what you guys are calling it, east side commerce corridor, go off the deep end like the MLK CIA has. The Racial Equity Commission, the current and former members really have, I think, delved into identity extremism in a way that's not helpful to public development or public interest. I grew up and had a lot in Jackson. I had a lot of good friends on the east side. There were some cool kids over there. Some of the businesses, Keys Produce, great business, family-owned business, still going. The Coney Island, everybody knows Coney Islands. Train station, some of the other places to shop. Simple stuff, the parks, Dairy Queen, whatever. But it's important that they're not radicalized and turned against each other for no real reason. And I have a lot of doubts about the city council, the mayor, their willingness to adhere to the basic standards and expectations of their oaths of office in planning for the future for the east side. Like I said, there was people from all over the world, different walks of life, different, I guess, mixed income households or whatever. I think as kids, you know, not everybody's going to be best friends, but we got along okay. And we grew up together. I have a lot of good memories with those people, and some of those people I'll be friends with till the day that I die. And I would just like for that culture of the east side to be preserved. I know there's been a lot of erosion with the level of crime and gang activity in that area. A lot of these kids are getting recruited into gangs, you know, 10 years old, 12 years old. They're targeting 15 and younger because they can't be tried as adults. So that's going to be a trend that we're going to have to deal with. But aside from that, I would say the underlying premise of it, keep up the good work. But just don't mess it up. All right, thanks.
John C. King.
John King, 203 3rd Street here in the city. Definitely that stretch of Washington, you know, I would definitely agree, and I think pretty much everyone agree that work needs to be done. You know, it is the road I avoid because of all the potholes and, you know, just the unevenness and stuff like that. A question that I would have for the city engineer, you mentioned a stoplight. Was the traffic circle taken into consideration? And as far as what might allow a better flow of traffic?
Yeah, a traffic circle was not taken into consideration. We just don't have room down there with a couple of the buildings on the corner and the auto repair shop. We do have that slip ramp that helps people make that 100-degree turn from Elmont to Page. That's how that's taken care of.
Okay, and I think, so the light you mentioned, was that where, well, the old, what is it, Keyr's or whatever the place was on one of the corners of that street?
Yes, that's where the signal will be replaced.
Yep, okay. Okay, thank you.
Madam Clerk, was there any communications emailed to us on this particular project?
No.
Council, any other questions, comments, concerns from you guys? Righty. I'll be looking for a motion and support to close this public hearing at this time.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. And the public hearing is now closed. That brings us down to citizen comment portion of the meeting. And I will start with reading the rules for speaking before the city council during the citizen comment portion of the meeting. Almost the same exact rules, almost though. Number one, each speaker will state their name and address prior to addressing council. Number two, each speaker is limited to up to 3 minutes during the citizen comment portion of the meeting. Council members and staff will not debate or answer questions at this time. Number three, each speaker should be polite and courteous to the council and members of the public in attendance. While any speaker is free to express his or her opinion on any subject, no speaker may direct personal attacks at any member of the staff or council unrelated to the manner in which they perform their duties, use obscene language while addressing the city council, or engage in disruptive or disorderly behavior during a council meeting. Number four, should any speaker cause a breach of the peace through their conduct, the mayor may declare the speaker out of order. Number five, if a speaker is declared out of order by the mayor and refuses to cease and desist from disruptive or disorderly conduct, the mayor may order the person removed from the meeting. Number six, each speaker may speak once under public comment and may not yield their time to others. John C. King.
John King, 203 3rd Street here in the city. For the history, Workers' Memorial Day was started by the AFL-CIO. So like here in the city, Workers' Memorial Park was done that way with Derek Dobies as the mayor. I called it, said at the time, I would just call it the Michigan AFL-CIO Park. Derek Dobies happens to be here, so maybe he'll come up and give the history on things like that. I saw residents in action do a post for request proposals at T.A. Wilson property today. You know, they mentioned commercial kitchen with teaching stations. Of course, maybe they want to give competition to the city with their old Masonic Temple kitchen, and then now the advanced auto kitchen that's being proposed. You know, they talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. That's kind of what I would call it. And you wonder why inflation is having trouble going down, you know, even before the war. You know, that's one of the reasons. Also, in their thing, they have tree demolition. And so I'm learning that it's Arbor Day, and they want to demolish trees, I guess, you know. So with global warming, that'll cause, you know, they'll be into that. In the news in the last week, there was Eric Swalwell. I just considered him for several years to be a lying Democrat Party scumbag. Now, the issue there, he had a relationship with a Chinese spy. She was on his staff. You know, this was long ago. All these Democrats knew it, but just in the last few weeks, it's all of a sudden, all these Democrats were really close to him, decide, oh my goodness, you know, I can't believe that. You know, they're all lying, of course. You know, they knew along his past, yet now they're against him. Another one like him, U.S. Senator Chris Murphy, thinking it was good that some ships went past U.S. ships during the blockade. A lot of what's going on right now has to do with China. The Trump blockade is so that China doesn't get oil from Iran. So it's not an Iran deal, it's a Chinese deal, and the Dems are unfortunately with China too often. Thank you.
Nicholas Thurston.
Good evening. I introduced myself earlier. So I wanted to talk about this thing that the city's doing with CNA, looks like Jackson Collaborative Network, and Racial Equity Commission. So CNA is a nonprofit research and analysis organization. It says on behalf of the City of Jackson, Racial Equity Commission, blah, blah, blah. So interesting thing about CNA is, and you can find evidence of this across the entire country, multiple states, multiple cities, is that almost everything that they do has the opposite outcome of what they're promising to people, and they're charging us a lot of money for this. CNA did some racial equity audit thing in the state of Michigan government, and then our governor and legislature put in the budget multiple times, which is totally legal, by the way. They want to increase the basically the number of black state police officers. So they bake the preferences illegally into the state budget, and then policies and practices of the state troopers. The number of black police officers employed by the state of Michigan Police Department has actually decreased in CNA's little racial equity thing. And the union, the police union, voted, I think it was like 98% of them voted to have no confidence in the person that was appointed to the state police chief position by Gretchen Whitmer administration. They say he's incompetent, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's not making our state safer, he's not letting cops do their jobs, and it's causing the black cops to leave because they don't want to be a DEI project, they want to be law enforcement agency. East Lansing, Michigan also is dealing with a problem. They actually had an increase in minority crime, mostly around black youth from other cities entering the city of East Lansing and causing problems. And the police department is now being sued with accusations of racism after they did everything that CNA has told them to do. So I don't know how much money they're going to be sued for, but it's not looking very good for them. The sad thing is the cops are just doing their jobs and following the instructions of CNA, and things are actually worse off. And then here in the city of Jackson, we definitely have an increase in, I think, racial hostility, fraud, waste, and abuse in public resources, and racism and sexism also in the area. And I know you guys are so big on DEI and racial equity and everything. Reserve 1% of the City of Jackson budget for me for the rest of my life every single year, if you believe in it so much. Because if anybody is owed anything, it's me, with all the harassment and discrimination that I've had to deal with for the last handful of years with you guys. Thank you.
James Minnick.
Hello, Board. James Minnick, 104 Claremont Circle, Columbia Township. Tonight I want to talk about the issue that you guys have before you about the Napoleon, the water main that's going to be going into Napoleon. Excuse me. It was about a year ago that I almost had thought about coming to somebody, whether it be the engineering or the board, because from Columbia Township, I'm very close, and I don't think that my supervisor would mind me line jumping and speaking for him. But we tied into the Leone Interceptor way back in the day, and it became a large issue, and if everybody remembers, there was a big lawsuit about that. Columbia Township is flirted with running our sewer or water and or to the city. And if it's possible and or if projects are kind of happening, and I'll try to connect my township with the engineering department if they haven't yet, I almost would be in favor of that. The only reason my opinion matters is because I ran for county commissioner in 2014 and trustee in the last race in Columbia, only losing by 1 vote, by the way. I'm pretty proud of that. I plan on running again for county commissioner in 2018, and barring any black swan event, I plan on getting that seat. So working with the city is going to be beneficial to all of the townships. Our county is made up of 19 townships and 1 city in the middle. And for the longest time since I've been involved, there's been this weird disconnect for some reason. Not for any specific reason, it's probably just locale and demographics. But I would like more townships, using some of the city's, resources if they can, especially if it helps, grow our tax base or our revenue. So when I seen the Napoleon map, or when I seen that map, come up that was, gonna go through Indian Village, I didn't do my homework, but it dawned on me that I wonder if this might be a good time that we get with Columbia Township and the engineering department and find out if we ever wanted to tie into the city's, sewer or water, how we might do that while other projects are happening. So I speak like this in public minutes because it puts things on record and it puts people on point when I do make phone calls or go to my township or speak with people like that to let them know what I'm planning. So, and I usually do it from the end and then go backwards and then get permission, but that's just a thing. So at any rate, Columbia Township, well, I guess that's where we're at. Thank you.
That concludes our citizen comment portion of the meeting. Thank you guys all for your comments tonight. That brings us down to item number 8. Looking for a motion and support on the consent calendar.
Come up.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimously, brings us down to other business. Item A, East Side Economic Development Update.
I have no update this month. Still working on evaluating a proposal from GWJ for assistance on establishing the Corridor Improvement Authority and putting a list of stakeholders. So thank you for the volunteers from council last meeting. That's it.
Perfect.
Oh, the only point of clarification I'd say is the East Side Corridor Authority concept is wholly different than the East Side Commercial Corridor project that Troy talked about. Completely separate things. Just wanted to clarify that, if anyone was wondering.
Thank you for that clarification. Any comments, questions, or concerns on the East Side Economic Development Update? Okay, that moves us down to new business. Item A, looking for a motion to support to approve Amendment 1 to the 23004 Napoleon Transmission Main Study Engineering Contract with Fishbeck of Lansing, Michigan at a not-to-exceed cost of $17,500 and authorization for the city manager and engineer to sign the appropriate documents.
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
Couple comments. In the ownership.
Can you turn your mic on?
In the ownership paragraph, it says that there will be, let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. Multiple phases. And then it later says that it will not, as this project will not be constructed in phases. And then further down, it says that there will be multiple phases utilizing these funds. So just a little clarity. There's some.
So if we ever get to a point of everything, what this should say is this is the first phase of many phases for this whole idea and concept. So what we're doing now is just studying how we could get water down into that area of the county. Other than that, we don't know, because we expect to be a large proposition. So the way we'd look at it is it probably would take some phases to construct unless a big pile of money landed in our laps again. Troy, do you have anything to add? You wrote the memo, so if you've used phases in a certain way that I'm not catching, I want to
No,
make sure you have.
you've got it right. This will be built in phases. I don't know if I erroneously wrote something about doing a single phase, but what we're doing, exploring how to use the grant money we have now to do a phase. we just don't have enough money to do the whole thing at once. So we're trying to get started, working our way down there, and find some more water customers as we head that way with each phase.
Well, the original, oh yeah. It says our original intent was to do it in a single phase, but we just, the grant money that we got wouldn't get us all the way there, so that's why it's broken up.
We're pivoting here.
Okay, so this needs to be updated to reflect that there will be multiple phases?
No, what it says is like the original intent was to connect the transmission water main to Napoleon in a single phase along M50 focused route. As the project will not be constructed in a phase. Sorry, we didn't write this very well.
Yeah, that's not accurate.
I don't think anything needs to change, but we did anticipate this would be one, like the $5 million shot would get us there. It's not gonna get us there. So this has to be done in phases, and right now is the study phase.
And so the initial study was completed in May of 2024, and we've done nothing. I see that it says the project has not progressed. So we've done nothing with this project as of yet?
That's correct. Basically, we, after the initial study and the realization that we didn't have the funds to do the original project of building a water main all the way to Napoleon, it looked like the project was dead and the grant funds would go unused. Since then, we've kind of resurrecting that and came up with the idea of, can we use the funds we have now to build a phase to help us start using that money now to get us along the road to get there? That's where the, maybe the confusion is with phases and not phases. We're gonna have to do that in phases, and so, that's the new idea, and that's why we're here to, ask for a little bit more money so we can study that idea.
Just a question for clarification also. This is being paid for by the grant?
No, this will be paid for with water funds, but we've got to do this phase so that we can get to the construction to use the $5 million in grant funds. So this will be paid for with city water funds. When we actually get to construction, that's when we'll be utilizing the grant money.
Is a new study being completed?
No, this is just a revision or an addition to the study that's already been completed. In the original study, we looked at different routes to go to Napoleon. This route was not included in that, so that's why we need to revise it and look at this alternate route. I think the selling point for this route is that there are customers along this way, and we could start selling money with water with each phase. That wasn't a consideration in the initial study. The initial study just was to try to run all the way to Napoleon. That's not going to be able to happen. So we're trying to use the grant money as best we can. We're trying to get more water customers on board, and we're trying to start the route to Napoleon with a phase, first phase.
Mr. Mayor, if I can ask a clarifying question. Troy, it sounds like what you're saying is we're asking for a little bit of extra money. You're asking us for $17,500 so that we can explore doing a little jog off the original plan, because you think, and we think the study will show, that we can get customers on board faster with a smaller initial capital investment instead of just going straight to Napoleon all in one fell swoop, which we know is too expensive right now. So the idea here is to do a study, see if we can take a smaller bite, get some revenue, and then keep moving towards Napoleon in the future.
Yeah, all of that is true, and the only thing I would add to that is it will also allow us to use the grant money to do this job,
Okay, thank you, Troy.
to do construction.
I don't see in this document where the first, the cost of the first study. How much did that cost?
It's at the bottom of the memo. Originally, we spent $162,000 on the initial study. We're just asking for $17,500 to finish it up and add this to that initial investment.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions or concerns? Seeing or, sorry, you look like you had a thought.
Yeah, I was just thinking, sorry, kind of along the same thought process is that we don't have enough right now to do the whole project. So does that mean at some point we'll have to consider increasing or contributing in some other way, in addition to that 5 million that we already have?
Possibly,
Okay,
possibly.
we don't know
So to help you understand,
yeah,
the strategy behind this.
yes.
We are looking to increase our water customers.
Yep,
We have
that's-
willing.
that's clear.
We have willing, and I don't want to put too many words in their mouth, and as one of the assistant commenters also didn't want to do, they want our water. They Napoleon was a partner on this grant. We have to use it on some sort of M50 water project.
Yeah,
So over time, I expect both those communities down there and the city of Jackson to partner with each other on state and federal grants to get us there. The responsibility to get them, or the cost to do everything can be looked at a lot of different ways.
yeah,
We can look at it as should we pay money to get money? Or should we just rely on grants? Or should we put this on the back of the customer communities that we are going to? Well, we don't know any of those answers to those questions yet, but this study and future contemplations will help us
Yeah.
figure out those answers.
yeah. And those are all potential
All potential.
strategies?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing or hearing no other questions, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimously. That brings us down to item B. Looking for a motion and support to confirm Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership projects for fiscal year 2026 and 2027 and establish final funding allocations for those projects.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any comments, questions, or concerns on this matter? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimously. That brings us down to item C. I'm looking for a motion and support to approve submission of the 2026-2027 Annual Action Plan to HUD. Adopt the resolution of certifications and authorize the mayor to sign the SF 424 forms, the certifications and any other documentation required for submittal to HUD.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Comments, questions, concerns? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote.
Are we doing it again?
All right, item passes unanimously. That brings us down to item D. Looking for a motion and support to approve the subrecipient agreement between the City of Jackson and Greater Jackson Habitat for Humanity for the construction of a new single-family home at 322 Clinton Street. Authorize the city manager and city attorney to make minor modifications as needed and authorize the city manager and city attorney to execute the appropriate documents.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing or hearing none, clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimous. That brings us down to item E. Looking for a motion and support to approve the sale of city-owned property located at 755 Thomason Street and 757 Thomason Street, Jackson, Michigan 49203 to Agricon LLC for the total sum of $600. Approve the purchase and development agreement. Authorize the city manager and city attorney to make minor modifications as needed, and authorize city manager and city attorney to execute the appropriate documents necessary to complete the transaction.
So move.
It's been moved and supported. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing or hearing none, clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimous. That brings us down to item F, looking for a motion and support to approve the change order to the hazardous tree removal program contract with Top Notch Tree Care LLC in the increased amount of $19,229.50 to balance the contract quantities to match the quantities placed in the field, and authorize city manager and city engineer to execute the appropriate document.
So move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Comments, questions, concerns? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimous. Brings us down to item G. Looking for a motion and support to award a private city lot mowing contract to the lowest bidding qualified contractor, Elasian Landscape and Flat Work LLC, in the amount of $34,150. Authorize the DPW director to make minor modifications and execute the contract.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported, it sounds like.
They said I wasn't touching that.
You did it.
Okay, any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing or hearing none?
I have a question.
Oh, okay, there's one. Here we go.
I think just for, good of the public, having public comment about it, why are we not picking the lowest bid in this case? Or why is that not recommended?
I have some eager staff who are willing to come up and explain
Okay.
what's going on. I don't
Really?
know,
How about
that
one?
raised hand.
There you go.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We went out for bids for private weed mowing because the contractor from last year did not want to renew. We went out for bids. We had a mandatory pre-bid meeting. Bids were submitted, and then we did an evaluation on those bids to confirm whether or not they were qualified. The bids were evaluated, excuse me, on Thursday, April 9th. The lowest bid, or overall total bid, I should say, there was an absence of notarized non-collusion and ethics disclosure forms. They failed to provide an equipment list, so essentially the bid was submitted, not completed. They also submitted an hourly rate that is unreasonable. The same contractor bid $75 per hour for the exact same work in '24, and this year they only bid $40 per hour. And that $40 includes a two-man crew, a truck, a trailer, a zero-turn lawnmower. There's just no way. They also used a City of Jackson I'm sorry, the City of Jackson is a reference, which allowed us to bring up the discussion as a reference on the contract of the disqualifications that were brought to council in 2024. So even though they were the lowest overall bid, the biggest aspect of this was that their bid was turned in not completed. It was missing notarization, it was missing some initials, just lots of things. I's were not dotted, T's were not crossed. We were hoping for that, because we did go ahead and tell this particular contractor to go ahead and bid again, even though they were disqualified in '24.
Thanks, Tina.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Thank you. Seeing no further comments, questions, concerns, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimous. That brings us down to item H. I'm looking for a motion and support to approve a resolution to tentatively award a drinking water state revolving fund Phase 3 lead service line replacement contract to SWT Excavating Incorporated of Galesburg, Michigan at a cost of $3,292,663 and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the appropriate documents.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Any comments, questions, concerns?
I wonder if staff could enlighten us on how items H and I are related to one another.
Yeah, I'll let Troy handle that.
I think the conversation needs to start with the funding for this project. We've gotten a DWSRF funding to do more lead services. We have, I guess I gotta add them together, but we got $5 million to do lead services. With that, we gotta pay for the engineering and the construction. Well, we put out a contract for bid, and bids came in very low, which is awesome. It's a good thing. But what that does is it leaves us room to do more work at that low price and maximize that DWSRF funding. We love using DWSRF funding. It's cut in half. Half of it is very low interest loan. We like low interest, but we like even better is half of it is forgiven and we don't have to pay it back at all. So we want to make the most of this funding opportunity. So we'd like to award this contract, and then we'd like to actually add more to this contract to maximize that funding, maximize the forgivable amount that we're spending, and get more lead services done.
Thank you, Troy.
Mr. Mayor, maybe you already touched on it a little bit, but can you speak to why this is tentative? I know we've done that in the past, but are we waiting on it?
Yeah, because this is DWSRF funding, and it closes like a loan. Well, it does close because part of it is, like I said, it's a loan. The whole thing's a loan, but half of it's forgiven. We have to have the prices so that we know what we're going to the bank and closing on. So we're gonna tentatively award it, then we're gonna get our funding, and then we're gonna fully award it and do the work.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimously. That brings us down to item I. Looking for a motion and support to approve a tentative change order 1 to the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund Phase 3 lead service line replacements contract with SWT Excavating Incorporated in the increased amount of $760,383 to fully utilize the available DWSRF financing and authorize the city manager and city engineer to execute the appropriate document.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing or hearing none, clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimously. That brings us down to item J. Looking for a motion and support to approve the resolution for No Mo May from May 1st, 2026 to May 31st, 2026 in the city of Jackson.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Comments, questions, concerns?
What happens June 1st?
Time to cut the grass.
You get a ticket.
Okay. Is there a notice going out for our residents? No, seriously, is there
I'm
any?
laughing at Will, not you. Don't worry. You say that again?
Will the residents receive notice?
I don't think they have in the past. I think it's like if you want to participate, you can participate voluntarily. It's not mandatory. I know I personally, and I support it. I do support it, but I want to cut my grass right now, Shalani.
Right.
And so I will not participate in it, and you're not. It's not mandatory. And I also think it's limited to. Is it limited to front yard?
Front yard.
Backyard, right? And so the expectation is that if you're participating in it, that after May 31st, you prepare to cut the jungle. That is literally what I was going to say. At this rate, it will be a jungle. I have heard, some concern, just in my household of talking and like asking, like, how do we know that somebody is participating in something that someone recommended at some point was maybe you should consider some signage that people can get. I think this was in our meeting on Friday, that it was recommended, like, what if we get a sign or offer a sign for citizens to be able to notify neighbors? Because I think that's probably the biggest concern is, like, if my neighbor doesn't know that I'm participating in No Mo May, they may have a problem with me not mowing and complain. It's just a thought to put out there that was discussed, so.
You referenced in the past, how long, how many years has this been occurring prior to?
I think we skipped last year.
Okay,
And so we did
we've
it
only
one
done it
year
once, so this is
before.
the second time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
The suggestion for signage was made. What was agreed upon? Was there anything beyond that?
Just a suggestion.
Do we anticipate? Is there any, Jonathan, any signage?
No, I don't anticipate this being a thing, to be honest with you. Some people will not mow, some people will mow, some people will complain. We know if this gets approved, to use discernment on the people will probably just explain to the callers or the complainants that there is no mow May that's happening. So in the future, maybe we can do some of those things, but in the second year, we're tracking kind of the complaints, or we noted the complaints last time. Want to see how that tracks this year. And then honestly, is this coming from the Environmental Commission? And probably ask them for some input and how they could be involved in spreading the word, working on signage, things like that. But to be perfectly honest with you, this is not big enough to really spend a ton of resources on. It just doesn't.
Yeah. I think if we did go the signs route, that when he says like not worth us putting the resources into, it would cost the city to produce those signs and have them available for citizens. And then the next question is, what do we charge them for the sign? Do we expect them to bring that sign back after the 31st, and how do we manage that? And from what I can remember in '24, it really was not a huge thing. Like, I think it's important for those who find it important. It was important enough for our environmental commission to make the request for this to be brought back up. And I mean, I think as someone who's an avid gardener, I appreciate those who give our early pollinators something to feed on. But I do also appreciate that it's a choice and not something that's mandatory to participate in.
Mr. Mayor?
And also the baby bunnies. Baby bunnies nest during this time of year also. Yes,
So, I know this is anecdotal and it's not a science experiment, but we did it 2 years ago, we didn't do it last year, and what I'm hearing from our city manager is, you know, when we did it, it wasn't a big deal. But did we notice any huge difference last year when we didn't do it? I mean,
Nothing that bubbled up to me.
Sure.
You know.
okay. And to Councilwoman Hunt's question, I guess, earlier, I think it's safe to say that we give some sort of latitude, like on June 1st, I'd imagine. We're not going around trapping people. Yeah, and we did this in '24 and we didn't do that. So I'm confident we'll just do it the same way we did it.
But if this starts taking off and we need signs, then we'll have to keep looking at
Yep.
it. You know?
Okay. Seeing that all minds are clear, hopefully, or at least partially, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimously. That brings us down to item number 11. Council member comments. Vice Mayor.
I knew it, I just knew it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank each and every one. Also, I just like to thank CNA. How I feel to be on, you didn't know you was gonna be on the agenda tonight, did you? I know that's right, but you on the agenda. You on point, brother. Yeah, that's what we talking about. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Just one little comment. We had a lady, person call, her sewer was been broke almost for months, a few months during the winter months, so she has no toilet, no sewage, no toilet. Talking to the third floor, community development, not a fault of ours, but just the way the system is, how everything works. I know Sam, who works up there, did everything she could to help the lady, do everything she could do to help her. But I don't want to say, you know, I guess we all know, poor, you low income, in order to make means meet, you need to do what you have to do. If it's get a second job, whatever. But when we do that, when things like that happen, that bumps you from HUD, from trying to qualify from a rehab. So she needed work did to rehab to replace that. But because she went out and got, you know, second job, whatever, it's just something we unfortunately wasn't able to do anything with her, do anything for her on our end. I know gave us some suggestions, some different things like that. But, you know, I think everybody know, you know, you try to get ahead, you try to do what you can do, but in order to get assistance from the government, you basically just gotta either not do something to qualify, or if you do, you don't do it and you try to, you know, get a second job or try to make ends meet and pay your bills, you get disqualified for being poor or low income. So I think that's something you can't do anything. We can't do anything about it, but it's just, I know there's many more out there who goes through this, and it's just, it's sad. But I just want to thank Third Floor, thank Sam, those who worked their butt off, tried to find loopholes, tried to find ways to help her, but we just couldn't do it. So I just thank staff for what they did, what they tried to do, and just still trying to find, you know, contracts out there that would be able to lend a hand. So just want to thank staff for that, for everything that they do and they're trying to do. Okay, I guess I need to talk about this since Nicholas brought it up. So tomorrow at 6:30 at Jackson JSO, that's a Speak Up Jackson. So we did this with racial equity with the police department and come out. But this time is more about citizens come out and saying how they feel about the staff other than the police department. Come give your opinion, what you like, you don't like, things you can't stand or you can stand, maybe we can make better things. But just to come out and speak up, speak your voice, see what you have to say. The doors open at 6:30 tomorrow at JSO. So please come out, give your opinion. Say what you have to say. Say, I can't stand that Shane, man. Shane is just, oh my God. Then you just let us know. Yeah, there will be no staff there. So just come out so you can feel free to just eat them up. Tell the truth. How you feel. That's all I have to say. Peace out.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Forgrave.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to thank the DPW department. There was an incident, it was actually in the 5th Ward, but it was a friend of mine. And after the storms that have come through recently, I'm sure they've gotten a little inundated with a lot of calls, but they were able to help with a down limb that was, well, not a down limb, a broken limb that was leaning towards the house. And not only that, but after the fact, when the fence was damaged, my friend called me to say thank you, but also this fence needs to be fixed. And I think given the timing of everything, they were already on their way back to fix it. So great work all around, and I'm sure, staying on top of that, as well as the other trees, prior to all these storms that came through. But just a big thanks to the DPW department for all the work they do and all the good work they do. We appreciate it. Thanks.
Councilmember Hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Question and then a comment. For the proclamations that you read today, were those presented to anybody in particular?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you. And then, thank you for showing that collaboration as a Ward 6 council member. And
That's my heart.
yeah, and working with residents in Ward 5. And again, thank you to everyone that is present here today. It's important work that we're doing, and these decisions are not easy to make. They come with a lot of thought and consideration, and we appreciate you listening in, those of you that participate in the public hearings. It's important that we hear from our constituents. Your voices do matter. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, members of council. Thank you, members of the public who spoke today. Thank you, city staff. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Don't have much to say tonight other than thanking everyone, of course, most important for you coming out tonight. I also want to give a big thanks to Jonathan. Started your week off last week, I think it was, with a few things, but I appreciate you getting that information back to me and, getting right on that task or project or issue that someone in my area was having. That would be it. Thank you.
And Councilmember Gunn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I want to first thank Corey Mays for joining me on a Sunday morning to be on the radio show Fiesta Alegre and to talk, to answer questions about the master plan, the steering committee, and ways that people in the Spanish-speaking community can get involved. And so thanks, Corey. We finally got the date right. And then it's great to see the lead line replacements happening. I've seen a lot driving through the neighborhoods. My own neighborhood is on the list, and people are getting their lead lines replaced. It's been fairly painless, and so that's great to see the momentum. And again, of course, thank you everybody who came out. Thanks for the comments, and that's it.
All Right. So thank you to Troy and the engineering staff for the work that you guys are doing on that east side project to hopefully repair one of what I think is probably one of our worst streets. I travel, of course, here to downtown almost on an everyday basis, and I live right. Like the fastest way is for me to come down that street, and it is. I told some guests who were in town, if you see somebody driving straight on this street at night, JPD probably will pull you over for like being drunk because they know how many potholes it is, and you got to kind of maneuver around them. And so we appreciate that. I'm looking forward to seeing that project completed because it is definitely very much needed. Speaking of potholes, just want to make sure that I tell citizens who may be out there listening and those who are out there right now with us, if you have a pothole to report, if you call me, great. I'll try to get the information to the proper people so that it can be taken care of. If you call DPW, great. Hopefully they don't get sidetracked and like not make note of it getting done. To me, the best route to get it done, to make sure that your concern is heard, is to report it on the website or email it. You can email DPW because then you actually have like a paper trail, a record of when you notified DPW of your concern. Or you can go to thecityofjackson.org and click on the report a concern and report the potholes that you may be riding over there. I do want to thank DPW for one, being attentive to all the things that they are responsible for. This is pothole season. Every rain, every storm exposes potholes more and more during this time of year, and they are working as diligently as they possibly can to make sure that they take care of those potholes. But we need your help. You can help us by reporting where you are seeing the worst ones at, so that we can try to get those taken care of as quickly as possible. They do, however, have to be in the city of Jackson. I spent probably 30 minutes on the phone with the citizen today, and I said, hey, follow up with a text message, and I'll make sure I get that information over. And I'm just now reading the text, and it is not in the city of Jackson. So that is the caveat. It does have to be in the city of Jackson. I also want to remind people about tomorrow's event. Thank you, CNA, for being here with us tonight. As a reminder for us to remind our citizens and community out there. And whether you come and your comments are positive, negative, or indifferent, we do want to hear your voice. Your voice does matter. Whether you agree that we should be doing the work or disagree, and if you come and tell us you disagree that we're doing the work or our selection of who's doing the work, great. Come contribute in some way at this event tomorrow, April 22nd at 6:30 at the Jackson Symphony Orchestra. And thank you to the Jackson Symphony Orchestra for opening your doors. And also thank you to the Jackson Collaborative Network for contributing the gift cards, because there will be 6 gift cards raffled off of $50 each. If you don't come for anything else, come to possibly win a gift card. There is a Neighbors Helping Neighbor event number 6 in the MLK corridor, a community cleanup day, and the meeting place or the drop-off place for your unwanted things will be at Prospect and Cooper Street on May 2nd from 8 a.m. to 12. On the same day, there are also 2 other community-wide cleanup sites. DPW on Water Street, where it's normally at, is one site, and then over on the north side of town, or no, I guess that's north side. On northeast side, I'll be more specific. Over at Nixon in the parking lot is another place. And to me, I think this is great because it spreads out and keeps that line that is normally like wrapped from Water Street down to Morrell and around the corner somewhere from being so long. And helps us make sure that we are giving people an opportunity to get that spring cleaning done that they need to get done. My last thing is just a fun fact. What made me think about this is Workers' Memorial Day coming up, and that it also includes any illnesses that people may get from working in 4th grade. My teacher, actually, I think it may have been 3rd grade. In part of spelling, we had to learn the longest word in the dictionary, and I still remember it to this day. It is pneumono ultrascopic pneumono micro ultrascopic silicovolcanoconiosis. It is a coal miner's disease that people would get from breathing in that silica inside the coal mines. And it is the longest word in the dictionary. And we had to learn how to spell it. And I just taught my 3rd grader how to spell it.
Can you spell it for us, please?
I can. No pressure, because I already copied and pasted it so I wouldn't have to guess, because I was assuming. But let me tell you something. My daughter, I was like, she came in and she was spelling all these words. She could spell very, very good. So I was like, spell this word. And she was off by maybe 6 letters with no help. But it starts with a P. I'll tell you that. I'll let you look the rest up. It does not start with an N. It's spelled like pneumonia. And so it was really cool how she broke it down. This just shows the impact of an educator who can break down how to spell a word and then encourage you that if you use this method, you can learn how to spell anything. But I was thoroughly impressed with my 9-year-old that she was 6 letters off from spelling this word correctly. But that's all I got, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you for reminding everybody about the community cleanup days. That's all I have.
Looking for a motion to adjourn.